Hey, welcome to what are we? Business Pants. It's Thursday, October 17th. I'm Damian Rollis. That's Matt Muscardi. We are Free Float Media. We're on time today.
Look at that.
I know, and it's lunch and I'm still hungry. Well,
I'm
no, I'm
I'm
supposed to be
starving.
hungry.
But
Yeah.
y'all can expense this lunch because this counts as doing the business right now.
Yeah, this is doing the business.
We're
I
doing the
mean,
business.
the reality is that you probably are learning more in this lunch news stream than you are at everything else you're doing today at your job. Sorry, I'm sorry, but it's true. No, I mean there were a lot of days at my former company, MSCI, and this is not about MSCI. This could be any big company like that, where I don't know how many days I was actually learning new things. Right, often I was kind of stuck in like repetitive tasks.
Yeah, welcome to life.
Okay, I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing things out.
I'm
I'm
just
trying to
saying.
sell this show, Matt. I'm trying to sell this show.
This show is all about expanding your horizons.
Yeah, that's right. And soon, since I'll have a beautiful green screen, it's also about diminishing the shit behind me.
Yes, shit diminish. That is the new official motto of Business Pants. We
Yeah,
diminish the shit.
where we promise to be a work in progress every day of our. Um,
Forever.
you ready to go?
Let's do this.
So we're gonna do a bit of a weekly wrap up. Thursday is our last show of the week. We're gonna kind of look back at some of the stories we've been covering this week. Let's start in wars and update the strike at GM. So GM and union leaders have reached a tentative deal on a new labor contract that could end the month-long strike. And this is, can I just say, this is all. It seems like all good news for strikes and union members. So this is what they're expected to receive: raises of 3 to 4%.
Ooh,
Um,
like inflation almost.
yeah. uh, the addition or retention of 9,000 hourly U.S. jobs. A clear path for temporary workers with 3 or more years to become full-time employees. First of all, I mean, they have had temporary workers for 3 or more years and they won't hire them. That's just sad. I'm sorry. GM will also invest at least $9 billion in operations, including all-electric pickup plant in Detroit. And there's actually a lot of other goodies there. So I want to, before I always throw this to you, I want to repeat that this strike's been going on for over a month, has cost the company over $1 billion, maybe up to two. And this was the first week that CEO Mary Barra bothered to show up and join the talks.
So kudos to Mary Barra for recognizing the fact that the CEO can actually talk about to the workforce. So
Yeah.
good for Mary Barra. Um, this whole story. I mean, other than the fact that they're still going to replace like 20% of the workforce with robots named Madi over the next 5 years,
Maddie.
most likely, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, this doesn't seem like it would be like a tech story, but I wonder if tech employees would pay attention to this
No.
because the tech sector
Yeah.
is like a majority contract working sector at this point. And the only ones with power, employees with power in the tech sector, have been the ones voting their shares that they've been basically granted by the
Right.
company. And there's talk, I know in South Korea, they've been talking earlier this year about unionizing at a place like Samsung, which is unheard of. I wonder if this is the path forward. Ironically, and I talked to one of our ex colleagues about this, Bentley Kaplan, who is a fucking genius.
Okay.
Ironically, it's like 100-year-old device in unions that might save employment going forward from both robots and fully contracted workforces instead of employment. I mean, what do you think?
Um,
Is this a shot across the bow? Is this like the resurgence of unions? Is this the beginning?
Here are two things. Two things I think. One is that it depends on how the story is covered, because from our perspective, it seems like a win. So, will the media outlets also cover this as a win? Will they cover it at all as we're like swimming in a sea of impeachment and China crap?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think you're right. It should be the start of something. But here's what I worry about when you mention tech workers. Do they have the grit to go on strike for a
Oh.
month? No, I'm serious. To go on strike for a month is borderline heroic for these GM workers, because I don't know if people have any understanding of not only the physical toll of going on strike for a month, but the fear. I mean, must be just constant fear of their future.
I
So
mean,
I don't know.
it's
Do
a good
people
point.
who sit on their phones all day, on TikTok, do they have that level? Do they care? I don't know.
I mean, first of all, how dare you suggest that everyone in tech just sits on TikTok all day?
Okay, everyone in tech is my daughter, so
So,
I'm just saying, does my daughter have the grit to be on strike for a month outdoors?
so you're saying your daughter sucks at doing things that are hard, is what you're saying.
I didn't say that. That's what Matt was trying to say.
Well, I just want to be clear here because it is a good point. They took a 1/12th pay cut, right, to go on
Yeah,
strike. Basically, they took a 6% loss to get a 3 to 4% pay raise.
yeah. Well,
And
more than that too, though. I mean, that it was an unknown. I mean,
well, they're effectively doing
end
it.
game could have been no job.
It's the old saying, right? Like, you plant a tree now that whose shade you'll never know. Isn't that like an old
Right.
proverb?
Right. But Mary Bear, had a lot of axe henchmen who might have chopped down that tree.
Right.
So,
But I think it's worth watching. This is the beginning of
okay.
something, not the end. That's what I think.
All right. On to streaming wars. Here's what CEO Reed Hastings of Netflix had to say about the streaming wars, the upcoming streaming wars. This is what he had to say. Quote, fundamentally, there's not a big change here. We're all competing against linear television, not really competing against each other. So here's what Free Float Media co-founder Damian Rawless has to say in response. Bullshit, Reed. I don't buy any of that. I don't buy any of it. That there's nothing going on.
Oh, yeah. This is not going to be good. Honestly, but here. You want a hot take? You want a prediction?
Yeah, hot take.
3 years from now, we're wishing there were no streaming wars because we're exhausted from
I'm already exhausted.
everyone taking their IP and their content and putting it on their own channel. Look,
Yeah.
Disney, Netflix, Spotify, Hulu.
Apple.
If any of you want to host Free Float Media's Business Pants show, we are open for business. Put the content everywhere.
Yes.
Forget proprietary. We are unproprietary. That's my hot take.
Thank you. All right. Let's stay in our weekly wrap up. Let's talk about CEOs rule, because they do rule in many ways. Our sexist of the week, Ken Fisher of Fisher Investments, has already cost his company about $1 billion in assets, as the Boston retirement system, Philadelphia's Board of Pensions, and Michigan's retirement system have all said no thank you, Mr. Fisher. Fidelity has also said that it's reviewing its $500 million relationship with the sexist. So sorry, Ken. Maybe it's time to go away. I mean, this is huge. This is big. This is, $1 billion already?
Come on, it's not.
No?
You can't. I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that we knew when Me Too started. All that bullshit that men like to spew, like locker room talk,
Yeah.
it's not great for business anymore. Like it used to be. Look, we have to cop to the fact that it was great for business for like a million years.
Great for businessmen.
It was great because it was all men in business, and therefore it was great.
Yeah. My mother-in-law wouldn't even watch the show Mad Men because she worked in the advertising agency in that time.
And it must be really aggravating.
So it was great for men. Yeah.
My grandmother-in-law was like one of the first female. Yeah, I'm one-upping you. You have a mother-in-law. I have a grandmother-in-law.
I don't have one.
She was like one of the first female clerks for a judge in Hawaii. And she got a college degree when it was unheard of for women to get a college degree. That's now been happening for a century, where women are basically kicking men's ass at stuff that they just took. And now, Ken Fisher, you are the end result. You are the dinosaur in the room who thought, "Oh, didn't he say? I've been saying this kind of stuff for
Yeah.
years. I've been
Now
talking
you
about
care?
women's genitals
Yeah.
in business meetings for
Oh,
years.
all
No
of a
one's
sudden you care
bothered.
now. All
all
right. Women are
all of a
important
sudden, this isn't
now.
cool. Like, no, it's not. And guess what? It wasn't cool for years, but there weren't any other women in the room, so no one
$1
had to
billion
know.
less cooler. Okay. In Boeing news, uh, CEO Dennis Muhlenberg told employees he was fully supportive of the board's decision to split his chairman and CEO roles. So this is Dennis Muhlenberg's amazing punishment. He's fully on board with it. Um,
He's the Adam Newman of air transportation.
and just so we're talking about Dennis, let's talk about Dennis a little bit more. I want to tell you that Dennis took home over $30 million last year, right?
Fully supportive.
And I took a little bit of look at this money, and his annual bonus was based only on free cash flow, earnings per share, and revenue. So a bunch of fuzzy math, right?
Hey,
Nothing tangible.
wait. Explain that, because who the hell knows what you're talking about?
Exactly, because I'm going to tell you that none of his pay at Boeing was tied to safety. Nothing to the fleet, to the damn airplanes, to any of it. None of it was all tied to fuzzy accounting math. In fact, I did a search of the whole proxy statement, which is 150 pages, and the word safety is mentioned one time, and it's in the context of making sure that all of the attendees of the annual meeting are kept safe
Terrorism.
because they've implemented new security and admission policies, including this forward-thinking strategy that they are not allowing briefcases into the annual meeting. So sorry, 1987 businessmen, you'll have to leave your baseball cards with the belt. So that's it. That's the mention of the word safety in the Boeing shareholder statement.
I'm going to walk
That's
around
it.
with a briefcase from now on that just says Dennis Muhlenberg on it.
And just full of like Pete Rose rookie baseball cards.
I wish. It's gonna be-
All right.
It
That's
is.
for you.
It does. It is. It is
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Newman managed to walk away from the Wii company with $700 million in his pocket, and he was fully supportive of getting stripped of all of his titles. Dennis Muhlenberg, congratulations. You got stripped of a semi-meaningless title while pocketing $30 million in cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Stripped
cash,
of a role
but
that you are fully supportive of.
congratulations.
All right. Let's jump to Dystopia. Salesforce co-founder Marc Benioff said that society needs to be careful to make sure the negative aspects of AI, artificial intelligence, do not outweigh its positives. Benioff says Salesforce's partnership with academic researchers to spot sharks off the California coast is an example of AI for good. You down with that? First of all, what are we going to do? What are corporations going to do about AI? And second of all, is spotting sharks off the coast of California AI for good?
I have a
Or do
direct
you care?
question
Yeah.
for Marc Benioff. Here's my
Yes.
question. Outback using AI for its lobby efficiency. Is that AI for good?
Oh, well, are there sharks in the lobby? Gonna mangle your forearm?
I think the lobby is off the coast of California right now at the Outback.
So it's a win.
I mean, yes. I mean, look, I get his point, right? Because Facebook is in the news talking about they want to
Oh, yeah.
effectively eat your brain. Like, I mean, we've reached the zombification of
What's
big
left
tech.
of it? Yeah.
I mean, but Salesforce, isn't it a little disingenuous coming from a big tech company who, aren't they like investing in AI to rule the Salesforce space? I'm sure, right?
I mean, I agree with you, but I appreciate the notion of getting ahead of things before they cause problems. That like something that Facebook refuses to do. Right? I mean, I'm not saying that Benioff is coming up with some plan, but I think this is just a springboard to a more important conversation. Is that are we going to ever be smart enough to pre-regulate impending disasters, or is that are we always going to be like dealing with the aftermath of things?
So I've done a lot for anybody who's we're going to launch our teaser podcast on both on podcast channels. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
But I've done a lot of background research for one of the podcasts, which suggests
That you're working.
that regulators
Yep.
don't regulate until after some shit goes down. Like if you're
Right.
waiting for a regulator to say it's okay to do a thing, you've already it's already happened. It's already been bad. You've already probably lost a lot of money. So
Yeah, and the people you're trying to regulate against already have stockpiled so much money that they're just going to fight you to the death anyway to keep that regulation from going into practice.
exactly. So Benioff, it's an aspirational goal, but I'm not sure it's a real thing that's gonna happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna pre-regulate AI because it's gonna be out in the world, and we're gonna actually have no idea what the hell it's doing until it's too late.
Yeah.
I had this amazing conversation, amazing conversation about using AI and blockchain in trading and financial companies. So the companies are trading all the time, and they wanted to use it.
That conversation does not sound amazing.
It was amazing because,
Yeah.
and this is somebody who works at Moody's.
Okay.
I won't say who. I'm super
John
smart fucking
Smith.
dude.
Yeah.
Was telling me like, just wait for the day when a trade happens. Either you're a customer or it's between two banks, and there's a dispute about the trade, and it was an AI blockchain facilitated trade. Does the bank basically say it's not our fault because AI did it, and that's like a sentient being, so go talk to that? And then afterwards, it's in the blockchain, which is not reversible. So not only is it not our fault, but sorry, you're shit out of luck.
It's over.
Congratulations, world. We have hit full dystopia at that point.
Well, you know how they can safeguard themselves. They can have AI writing the algorithms of AI.
Already happening. Already, we're in Akira. We're in
all right.
the 1983 movie Akira.
Speaking of shark spying, I also wanted to mention that SpaceX is seeking permission to launch another 30,000 satellites in addition to the 12,000 it already has permission to launch. And to put these numbers into perspective, Matt, there have been only 9,000 satellites that have been placed into Earth orbit since 1957. About 5,000 of those are still in space, and less than 2,000 are still functioning. So SpaceX wants to launch 30,000 satellites.
Quick link. This is why Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk want to go to Mars, because there's already so much space junk that they have to escape Earth orbit to get away from all the pollution.
I thought you were going to say it's like a kind of like a game of like Frogger or something. Like they're going to use the satellites to jump, to walk to Mars.
Oh no.
That's not how space travel works.
That's not. I don't think that's how that works.
Okay.
I know you are an engineer, but no.
Okay. Let's get to our Biz Nuggets.
Nug me.
In a viral video, London commuters were seen dragging climate activists off underground trains.
Classy.
No word if LeBron was one of the draggers, just so you know. So here's what we've learned this week. To all of y'all trying to change the world for the better, shut up. We're trying to go to work. Right? Isn't that what's going on?
It's all about the Benjamins, or in this case, Queen Elizabeth's? Like who the hell's on there?
The Elizabethans.
Yeah. This isn't a great look for the London commuter.
The draggers.
Do you think it's all Brexiteers who are all dragging them off? Yeah. Are they the draggers?
It could be our former colleagues at our mothership.
Like, far be it from me to speculate about the intentions of another person who, undoubtedly, it's early in the morning, you're fucking grumpy, you haven't had your coffee, and you got a bunch of 18-year-olds who are worried about the future of the planet.
I know. Like, get over it.
Get the hell out of my way. I got somewhere to be. maybe all the people who were dragging them off were like, I'm going to a job in which I save the planet. So get out of the way so I can go do that job.
Do you think that's how LeBron sees the NBA in China? It's kind of like a pro-democracy mission?
I speculate that LeBron's next tweet will be, if only those climate activists were more educated about the climate.
Hey, well, yeah.
But it is not it's not a great, like dragging anybody out of just move to a different train car, take a cab for the one day. Ironically, shutting down public transportation, not climate friendly. Go shut down cabbies.
Shut down Uber.
Every one of them should just call Ubers and cancel all day long.
We should be doing that after the show too.
Done.
All right, we haven't talked about meatless meat in a while. So the Impossible Whopper, yeah, I just said that, is driving steady traffic to Burger King as traffic grew nearly 20% at its hippie St. Louis locations featuring the plant-based patty. So
hippie?
We finally found, well, hippie could be both ways. It could be do-gooders or just wide hips, right? I mean, if you're going to the Burger King and getting...
that makes more sense.
So we finally found the one thing that is going to keep fast food relevant, right? It's meatless meat. So, I mean, miraculously, it's not meat that's going to keep those companies relevant, right?
Ironically. But meatless meat, here's another hot take, because it's a day of hot takes. It's Thursday.
Let's do it.
We're just going to stay hot. Meatless meat is the tip of the spear of income inequality. That's
okay. Let's hear it.
Because meatless meat costs more. So you go and you get an Impossible Whopper.
That's true.
It's more expensive and equally as bad for you. So congratulations. We've solved the climate meat problem by replacing it with all the people who can't afford it will just keep getting meat. I went and I got Beyond Meat burgers, and they were like $7 a patty.
Is that true?
They're super expensive.
Well, maybe that's why I still haven't had one. All right, that's enough nuggets for today. I'm tossing out my last nugget. Let's go to Matt's ball pit. Where I heard that Matt will be snorting Coke today. Is that what you're doing?
No. You misheard that. Talking about Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay. Because I said that might play well to our Twitch audience, if we had a Twitch audience.
Well, if they didn't go to Taco Bell yesterday and get metal shavings in their food, then yes.
That's true.
So Coca-Cola was in the news, well, some form of news. They won an award about transparency.
Oh, good for them. I mean that the soda itself is transparent?
No, not like the clarity of the product. I mean, they won an award for being transparent reporters about all the stuff that they do. It's like a governance-y award, I guess, right?
Okay.
Yeah. But it got me thinking about transparency in general and Coca-Cola in particular. So I pulled all of this data about Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola... just for reference here, what does transparency actually mean in financial markets? You want to know something about the company, whether or not you invest in it. Coca-Cola wins an award because apparently it's very transparent. But the thing that we know about Coca-Cola is, I've listed out just for point of reference. There are 23 known Coca-Cola subsidiaries, 23 that I know about, that I could find. Okay,
right.
So that's 23 different companies underneath Coca-Cola that you would have to know about if you wanted to be fully transparent about what Coke does.
You want to understand the company, you'd have to also understand
the 23 subsidiaries. Yes.
And it's hard enough to understand just one company, let alone 23 additional subsidiaries.
And this is just Coca-Cola. Financial sector companies can have hundreds of subsidiaries.
Right.
So this is Coca-Cola with 23 subsidiaries I could find. We know that they set up a transparency website to talk about all of the things and their donations and the places that they're going. And we also know that they left in 2017, 2018, $6.3 million of estimated lobbying dollars were left off of the transparency page and report. So
Not very transparent.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
So now we got to go. Not only do we can't just go to their website and see like what they're doing. We actually have to go to opensecrets.org and go find millions of dollars of lobbying that they're doing without talking about.
Mhm.
We know that just in the news, there have been
Yeah.
41 controversies in the last 3 years,
Okay.
including 7 that were related to litigation around misleading sales. This is where they go and they say, "Dear consumer, my Odwalla drink or my, orange juice that I'm selling you or my vitamin water actually has health benefits."
Right. Right.
Turns out they might not have so
Okay.
much in the way of that thing.
Sure.
So now you have to go scour the news for every single report you can find, and filings, litigation filings, to figure out whether or not they're actually misleading you. They paid 8 million euros to influence research in France. They are using water. They have a whole report on water, and apparently the accounting of their water, which is the main ingredient to a beverage.
Yes.
The way they account for water, they claimed that for every drop we take, we put one back. I don't know how they're putting it back, first of all, but
Right. They're pissing it.
might be false.
Okay.
And let's cherry this cake by saying,
Yeah.
by some metrics, their accounting ranks as incredibly aggressive for, get this, because they keep getting sued for their accounting.
Wow.
So this is all a way of saying, when you see a company say something or a company wins an award for being transparent, you should have a lot of questions about that. And I don't mean like they're transparent about like their social do-goodiness. I mean everything they say is they only say if they are A, forced, or B, it's in their best interest.
So what are the criteria for this award? I mean, who's putting out this list? Do we know this?
So I can find a list of, most transparent companies every single year. I have hot top rated brands, most sustainable companies, companies you want to work for. All these lists are out there. You search for a company and search for best. Just go on Google, search for company name and best. And I'm sure they've won an award for being best at something. This should be everyone's Fox Mulder X-Files call to trust no one. Welcome to the 90s.
Thank you, Matt.
I just feel like I won a basketball game.
Or you lost. But I like the optimism. So, yeah, stay skeptical.
Stay skeptical is definitely a lesson. Do you have any final thoughts for our end of the week? I mean, anything strike you this week? What was your big takeaway?
My first takeaway is, why did my pants change from green to blue?
Because biz pants. No, who wears green business pants?
Well, but business pants are never blue, are they? This seems too.
This just shows how
like
few pairs of business pants you've actually worn.
It's a nod to denim. The week, you know what? This week has been saturated by impeachment porn and China, Hong Kong. That's my takeaway. It's like it's almost hard to find the good business stories because it's just. My guess is that most journalists in this country are just glued to impeachment porn. That's my sense.
I mean, what do you do then if you need to get the business news?
Yeah, you come to us.
Come here.
Yeah.
I guess my takeaway is this was a big week for big baby crying.
Okay. Starting at the top.
Because all the impeachment porn and proceedings did feel to me very whiny. LeBron whining about Daryl Morey, talking about Hong Kong, China whining about the NBA, whining about Hong Kong. Ken Fisher whining that I said this before.
Yeah.
Billionaires whining about every wealth tax plan for the Democrats. I mean, I
Right.
saw tweets from people being like, "Oh, well, why don't we just regulate billionaires out of existence?" From people who were billionaires, um, without irony.
Yeah.
It just felt a little whiny. I think everyone's got to take off their business pants for a minute because it's the end of the week
Right.
and put on
Air out.
their adult pants and stop whining so much.
Okay. That's a wise lesson. Take off your pants. We'll talk on Monday, Matt.
We'll talk on Monday. Good week, Damien.